Finding love is not easy, especially when you're competing against 3,900, almost 4,000 other people for the attention of just one person. 4,000 people are writing letters to one man to get him to fall in love with them. You really only have one shot. How do you get his attention? How do you stand out? How do you not be so boring? Maybe some people think I'll include some pictures, but how do you make those stand out? Maybe they're nude. Well, no, because the nude photos, they get flagged, and he's not even going to be able to read them. Hundreds of people have already tried, and sure enough, they've been flagged for being, quote, inappropriate. But how else are they supposed to stand out? Do you just write what you're thinking straight onto the page? I think I can change you. I know you've been hurt, but I'll be with you. I can see the pain in your eyes. I know you feel sorry. It's kind of like The Bachelor. Everybody is fighting for this one man's affections. Who's going to come out on top? Who is he going to pick? Only this man is not The Bachelor. He's a killer. He has committed double homicide. He killed 2 people in cold blood and has gone viral on TikTok for being hot. They call him the Deadpool killer, the Joker. People want to be his Harley Quinn. And now thousands of people from all over the world are writing to him, believing that they can be the ones to change him. Make a killer go good again. This is the case of Wade Wilson. Just a few quick disclaimers for today's case. There are mentions of suspected SA and somewhat graphic descriptions of injuries, as well as brief mentions of substance abuse. The majority of the research was pulled from the court trial itself, and the longest day of testimony lasted about 9 hours, just for one of the days. So for the purpose of time, as always, some statements have been condensed. With that being said, let's get into it. Monday mornings are usually for regrets and headaches. The weekend is over, everything is back to reality, and it's not a good feeling. It's not great. In Fort Myers, Florida, Mila, she's freaking out. Her car was basically stolen from the bar last night, from the Buddha bar. Her $80,000 car is now gone. Stephanie, another resident, she can't get in contact with her best friend Christine that she went to the Buddha bar last night with.
What is a Buddha bar?
It's like a club called the Buddha Bar.
Oh.
Yeah. Jason, another resident, is at work. He's hungover. He's exhausted. And then all of a sudden, the doors open. Police walk in and they want to talk to him about, what did you see at the Buddha Bar last night? And Wade, 25-year-old Wade Wilson, is standing in line Monday morning at this print shop. It's like where you can buy those giant prints, like printed storefront posters or art prints. He's standing in line behind another customer who's already being helped by the owner of this print shop. And it seems like both the customer and the owner that's behind the counter, they keep glancing at Wade. They keep looking at him and acting like he's not there, acting like they don't see him or the condition that he's in, because this man is shirtless. He's also shoeless, missing a couple of teeth, and he's got blood smeared like all over his torso. Just he's covered in blood.
What do you mean missing a couple of teeth? Like his front tooth?
A few teeth are knocked out. He's waiting for his turn to talk to the owner because he needs to tell him what the hell happened at the Buddha Bar last night. Sunday night at the Buddha Bar in Florida is probably the perfect time for someone who wants to be at a bar. You get to enjoy the live music and dance and drink, but it's not as packed as every Friday, Thursday, even Saturday. You don't want to be shoulder to shoulder with people in this sweaty, humid room. It's busy, but it's not overly crowded. You actually get to socialize with some of the people there. It's not the craziest crowd, which is perfect for Mila. She just wants to have a little bit of a low-key night. Mila walks into the Buddha Bar, maybe 10:30 p.m. She has this thing, okay? Mila has this thing where she never brings a purse with her. She likes to be hands-free. Her phone, her work phone, she's got 2 phones, her business cards, her wallet, her keys, everything goes into her pockets. She just stuffs it in there. And if it doesn't fit into her pockets, she usually has somebody with her that has bigger pockets than her, like her boyfriend, Wade. She gives him the keys to her $80,000 Dodge Hellcat. It's like a muscle car. He has the keys to her $80,000 Dodge Hellcat in his pocket, and the two start partying it up at the bar.
So Mila is dating Wade Wilson?
Yes, and she's at the bar with him, and he's got the keys to her car. Now, outside the bar, Amy just pulls into the parking lot. and she sees this sleek gray Hellcat parked outside. She's like, that's perfect. That's my best friend Mila's car, which means Mila's inside. Amy's here to see Mila. She grabs her bag, gets out the car, and she starts walking in. She's known Mila for maybe 10 years now. And this is the kind of friendship where it appears they don't really see each other too often. And when they do, it's like no time has passed. They hadn't seen each other in a really long time at this point when Mila and Amy decide, let's meet up at the Buddha bar. How about Sunday night? I mean, it's kind of the perfect night. I want to introduce you to my new boyfriend, Wade, and you live like a mile away from the bar, so it's perfect. Amy lives a mile away from the bar. So she shows up to the bar. It's going to be a fun night. And she's trying to find Mila in this crowded, loud, Mila! And next to Mila is her boyfriend, the one that she's been talking about so often, the one that Amy's supposed to meet. And the first thing that Amy notices is this guy is tall. This guy is probably 6'6". He's tall. And next to Mila, he looks even taller considering she's 5'2"? She's tiny. He also seems nice. He seems charming even. Wade Wilson, nice to meet you. Oh, Amy, nice to meet you too. The three of them, they grab drinks, they're hanging out, they're dancing. And then it happens. This is the one thing that every friend who goes out with couples, they dread. The couple starts fighting. They start arguing and the whole energy just goes south. It's sour. They're arguing at the bar because they just want to do different things. Wade wants to leave the bar right now and go to a guy friend's house and maybe do a little bit of drugs. Mila, she doesn't want to do any of that. It's Sunday night. She wants to go home early. She'd rather either stay here at the Buddha bar, enjoy the music, dance like they agreed to do, or just go home at this point. She doesn't want to continue the night at somebody else's house, and she doesn't even know this person. And what is she supposed to do? Sit there and watch them do drugs? She just wants to go home. They're going back and forth, back and forth. Nobody wants to budge. Mila's like, I've told you at least 3 times that I don't want to go over there. Please stop pushing it. Besides, this bar is about to close. It's nearly 2 a.m. I think we should call it a night. The two step away from each other to cool off. And Amy's trying to stick by Mila's side. Maybe let's just head out, get some fresh air. I'm sure he's going to join us outside. And once he gets outside, maybe he'll change his mind. Maybe he'll be like, you know what, babe? Yeah, you're right. Let's go home. They walk outside the bar and they hear a car engine rev and crack. And then they see a car speeding away. That's Amy's looking at the car. She's looking at Mila. She looks back at the car. Isn't that your car? Wade, Mila's boyfriend, had taken Mila's keys to her $80,000 car and had just driven off. Stranded his girlfriend at the Buddha bar. At the same bar, there are 2 other girls that have no relation to Mila and Amy, or at least not yet, Stephanie and Christine. Just like Mila and Amy, Stephanie and Christine have been friends for a really long time, and they're just trying to enjoy their Sunday night before the work week starts. The girls are about to leave when a man jumps in front of Stephanie. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. I was just wondering, who's your friend? He kind of cocks his head towards Christine, who looks up at him. Hi, I'm Junior. Oh, this is my friend Christine. Stephanie's a little bit confused. Christine reaches out her hand, shakes Junior's. Christine, nice to meet you. And the 3 of them, Stephanie, Christine, and Junior, they start walking towards the bar and they start talking. I mean, it's very clear that Junior is very much interested in Christine at this point. He's so distracted, he almost forgets to introduce. Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry, guys. Meet Jason, everyone. Jason, this is Stephanie, and this is Christine. They're like, hi, Jason. So the 4 of them, they enjoy their drinks together. And Christine is giving Stephanie oh, this is good. Like that look. He's cute. He's charming. He's friendly. He's so funny. Look at his clean shaven face. He's got the big dimples. Christine is joking to Stephanie. The guy that I was talking to earlier tonight, remember? He had just 1 dimple. This guy, Junior, he's got 2 dimples. Okay, the message is very clear. Stephanie and Jason are playing wingman tonight, so Christine and Junior can get to know each other. And they do. The girls are at the bar from 10 p.m.-ish to around 2 in the morning until the bar is closing up, and slowly everybody starts shuffling out of there. Things are going, honestly, very well at this point. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels unnatural. The conversation is flowing so easily, and they're all standing in the parking lot for a second when it's suggested, why don't we just all go back to Jason's to finish off the night? Christine and Stephanie had Ubered to the bar, so it makes sense. It was kind of perfect. They get into Jason's car. Jason starts driving back to his place. They open up the front door. They're all giggling, all four of them, when they flip on the lights, and on the couch, sitting there, staring at them, walking in, is Jason's mom. And she's pissed. It's past 2 a.m. It's Monday morning now, and Jason's been out all night long, and now he's brought home 3 people over.
How old is Jason?
I would say probably early to mid-20s.
Oh.
So everyone tries to make small talk with Jason's mom to kind of ease the tension. And it's not really working, so they all just run off into Jason's room to get away from the weird awkwardness. Jason's room is interesting. It's at the very back of the house, and there's a door to the backyard in his room.
So it connects to the
Yes,
backyard.
exactly. So Stephanie and Jason, they decide we're going to just step out into the backyard to hang out, give Christine and Junior some space to do whatever they want to do, because the two of them, they start having intimate relations pretty quickly inside of Jason's room. Now, I do want to mention, everybody here is an adult and it's consensual. Stephanie is the type of friend to fight somebody herself. She's the type to call the cops herself if she thinks even for a second that something is wrong. This is, by the way, Stephanie does tell this to authorities later on. Like, she is recounting the whole night, and so does Mila. There's a lot of testimonies here. Now, Stephanie says they're just adults that met at a bar. They're having some fun. And it was nice to see Christine enjoy herself once in a while. I mean, she's usually the one that's taking care of everybody. So it's nice to see that she's getting a break from all of that. Now, the 4 of them are there for a few hours, maybe. I mean, they kind of lost track of time when Junior pulls the girls aside and he tells them, this guy doesn't want us here anymore. We got to go. That's what he says. And it was at this point, Stephanie said, they realized, wait, these 2 guys, they don't know each other. Junior and Jason, they also just met at the bar tonight.
What?
She assumed that they had been friends. Like, they were under the impression that Jason and Junior had known each other and had arrived at the Buddha bar together as friends. But the way that he's saying, hey, this guy doesn't want us here anymore, it very much is indicating, I just met this guy.
And he just slept in his room?
Yes, with Christine. And so the whole thing is a little bit strange, but also not strange because it's not like anybody lied about it. It's almost like Stephanie and Christine just assumed. They made the assumption, right? And they just seem so natural. They seem like they had been friends for years. Now, it's unclear who offered or how this next plan comes into place. But the new plan for the rest of the night, I imagine it's maybe like 5, 6 in the morning at this point, is to go to Christine's house. Christine lives alone, so there's no mom that's going to be sitting in the living room waiting for them to get in. She does live with her cat, Monty, but other than that, she lives by herself. So they grab all of their stuff. They throw it into the car. This is actually Junior's car. That's also another revelation the girls are having. They're sitting in the car and they're like, wait, Jason drove this car to Jason's house, but now Junior's driving it. So apparently it was Junior's car that Jason drove. It's weird. It's a little bit weird. So they get into the car. Junior's in the driver's seat. He turns it on and the engine is so loud. I mean, especially because it's 5 in the morning and they know that all the neighbors are probably going to wake up to this. It's just revving so loud, practically waking everybody up. Junior puts his hand on the steering wheel. He puts his hands on the gear shift and he starts backing out of the driveway and the engine is getting louder and louder, but the car is not moving. The car is not even moving an inch. What the hell is happening? He tries to back out again and the car engine revs loudly again. I mean, do you know how to drive your own car? Like, what's going on? Are you drunk? He doesn't seem drunk. Junior is fiddling around with the pedals and it's not moving because it's not even his car. He had never driven a manual car before. This is a stick shift car. He's used to automatic cars. He's never driven a Hellcat before. This is his girlfriend's car, Mila's Hellcat, that he stole from the Buddha bar. And his name is not Junior. His name is Wade Wilson. And he is about to murder one of the girls in the car. Joshua, the owner of the print shop, waves bye to his customer. Thank you. Have a nice day. He's smiling at the customer and he's avoiding Wade as much as possible while that customer is walking out of the print shop. He pulls Wade to the side and he's asking him, this is also Joshua tells the police later, what the hell is going on, man? Wade starts pacing back and forth inside this print shop. I need your help. I need a bus ticket. I need a plane ticket or something. I gotta leave town. Joshua had heard about the fight with Mila from a mutual friend of theirs. And he tries to kind of calm this guy down. Wait, look, if it's about the fight with Mila, no, you don't get it. You don't understand. I killed someone. Wade starts frantically filling Joshua in on what happened last night, how he went to the Buddha bar with Mila, stole her car, but he didn't know how to drive it because he can't even drive a stick shift and the car is not automatic. He had some random dude named Jason drive it out of the bar. He, Jason, and 2 other girls went back to Jason's house, and then Jason kicked them out. So Wade and the 2 girls, Stephanie and Christine, they were going to head back to Christine's house for the night, or early morning, I guess you could say, just a few hours ago. But Wade could barely get the car out of the driveway, and now Christine is dead. He killed her. Joshua freezes, and Wade begs him to help him get out of town. I gotta go. I need a bus ticket. I need a plane ticket or something. Because I also might have just tried to kill Mila this morning as well.
Whoa,
so there is so much going on. Joshua is nodding, but the only thing on this guy's mind is, how the hell do I get out of here so I can call 911? He later tells the court this. He's like, I just needed to get out. I didn't want to alarm him to make him feel like I'm going to rat him out or snitch on him. So I'm thinking of, okay, do I tell him I need to go talk to a friend? Do I tell him I need to go smoke a cigarette? He just needs to call 911 so that someone can come and get this guy, because this is not good.
Are they friends?
He said they're more like acquaintances.
Okay.
He's saying they're not even that close of friends.
So he barely knows him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not trying to help this guy get out of town. I'm trying to help this guy get arrested.
And the Wade just showed up.
Shirtless, shoeless, missing a few teeth, and with blood smeared on his torso.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How well did you know Mr. Wilson?
I didn't know him very well. He was an employee at a friend of mine, marina in Conch Key, and
down in the Keys.
Down in the Keys, and I've only met him maybe a handful of times before that.
Mila's also not having the best morning either. Not the best Monday morning. This is before Wade goes to Joshua's print shop. This is early in the morning. She wakes up on Amy's couch. This is the friend that was at the bar with her. And she's staring at the ceiling, probably contemplating her life right now, okay? Contemplating how she got here. How her boyfriend Wade just abandoned her at the bar last night, essentially stole her car, and the past 6 months of her life were a living hell. Wade was probably the world's worst boyfriend for the past half year of Mila's life. Within a few weeks of dating, she had already called the police on him multiple times. He had physically assaulted her multiple times. One time, Wade apparently got very upset at Mila for these text messages that she had on her phone. It's unclear what the messages entailed or what the contents were, but they're both in the car and he's driving, blowing up on her, and she doesn't like where this is headed. So she ends up trying to get out of the car, just trying to create some distance between those two. He runs after her, ripping off her skirt. She said she wasn't wearing any undergarments underneath, so she's just running down the street in nothing but a t-shirt on, trying to find somebody to help her. He ends up tackling her to the ground, choking her in the middle of the street until she passes out. She comes back to, and she's in the car. Her hands are tied behind her with a cord, and there's this makeshift blindfold over her eyes. He said he's taking her back home. Their place at the time had a boat on the property. And it's parked on the dock, so there's water out there. He drags her onto the boat. They start getting off into the water, so there's really no way for her to escape anymore. It's not like she can just jump out the boat. And he tells her, I'm teaching you a lesson. He essays her. And when he's done, he brings her back home and then starts trying to comfort her, telling her the pain is over now. That's what she said, like the pain is over now. This is all reported to the police, and Wade ends up spending a total of 3.5 months in jail before being released on probation. He had actually just gotten out a few days ago, and then the two of them decided to go to the Buddha bar. But now, Mila's done. She's over it. She said she just wants her car back, she wants her property back, and she will be so happy to never see this guy ever again. And now it's the next morning. She probably has a raging headache from the alcohol. If not, probably from the mess that she's in. And her phone is ringing nonstop all morning long. She's getting a bunch of text messages, missed calls from an unknown number. She finally squints her eyes. She looks at the time. It's around 8:45 in the morning. She calls one of the numbers back. Whoever this is calling her work phone, trying to get in touch with her. So it seems like could be work related. She owns a spa. It could be a customer. It could be a client. She doesn't know. She calls. The voice on the other end is the most agitating voice that she's going to hear all morning. It's Wade Wilson. And he's acting like none of that happened last night. She says hello and he's quick. Where are you? Can I come get you? She tells him, look, I just want the keys back to my car. I want my car back and I need to get it back today. I have a few things I need to do. Where are you? He starts calling her a bitch and a cunt and all sorts of threats. It's just a lot. It's getting pretty heated, enough that Amy can hear from her bedroom. She says that she starts walking out into the living room and she thinks the whole energy is weird. I don't know if she necessarily heard the conversation or maybe Mila told her afterwards, but they both state that he was going from being very calm, saying things like, I love you, we can make this work, to the next time I see you, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, it's just back and forth like this, just hot and cold. Mila manages to de-escalate the conversation because, again, she just wants her car back. She's not even trying to fight him or argue or talk about how messed up that was last night. She just wants to do whatever it takes to be happy and nice and get her car back and then block him on everything. She de-escalates the fight, and the two of them, Mila and Wade, they agree to meet in the parking lot of Mila's spa that she owns. Amy understands that as, okay, we both gotta go because you don't have a car. She gets ready. The two girls get into Amy's car because, like I said, Mila doesn't have a car. And as they're driving to her spa, the whole time in the car, Amy said, Mila's phone just nonstop blowing up, buzzing the whole way. He's just calling her the whole time. And this guy just feels very unhinged. Amy parks her car at the parking lot. She watches Mila get out of her car, approach Wade, who's sitting in the car, and she goes to the driver's side. Next thing Amy remembers is she's on the phone with 911 because there's just so much blood. Mila had gotten out of Amy's car, walked up to Wade on the driver's side of his car. He's like, Mila, get in the car now. She's not gonna get in the car. She literally says, I'm not getting in the car. Is this guy crazy? He tries to grab her by the waist. He's pulling at her dress to try and drag her forcibly into the car through the driver's side window. Not even the door, through the window. So Mila says she needs to think quick. She throws her arms up in the air, like she's about to dive into the pool, just straight up, like a plank. She refuses to let her body fold up because she thinks the second that her arms fold in, he could probably drag her into the car. She's gonna go through that window and she's like, no way I'm getting into the car with this guy right now.
Like he's kidnapping her
Yes.
in broad daylight.
She's resisting. She's planking. He's pulling her. He's ripping her dress, grabbing her hair, dragging her, and whatever he can get his hands on. She manages to wiggle away and Wade starts panicking, realizing that she's slipping away from his grip. He opens the driver's side door. He hasn't even put the car in park at this point. It's still in drive. He gets out the car, grabs Mila. The car starts slowly rolling forward because it's not in park. Wade tackles Mila to the ground and the two of them are positioned where the car nearly runs them over. It grazes their legs. Wade jumps off of Mila, quickly puts the car into park, just pulls the emergency brakes. Mila uses this chance to run. Amy has been in her car trying to figure out what to do. This is happening very quickly. She has her hand on the door handle. She's ready to get out and help her friend. Wade is chasing after Mila and he points at her. If you get out, I'm gonna kill you. Amy does not get out. Mila is 5'2". She's tiny, maybe 100 pounds. Amy is 5'4". Both of them against Wade 6'6". Nothing good is gonna come out of this. They're both gonna get killed. They would need to have a whole army of them first. Amy's busy in the car calling 911. Meanwhile, Wade manages to catch up with Mila. So Mila at this point, I imagine.
This is, you say 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning?
I would probably aim closer to 9:30 in the morning because she got the original phone calls. She calls back at around 8:45 in the morning.
Right. So
Yes.
there's nobody around?
There are other business owners, but I don't think that they've come out yet fully. Mila's just trying to book it to the spa. I think her intention is if I get into the spa, I can lock it. I'll be safe. I mean, I'm hiding somewhere. Because I don't know if she knows which businesses are open at this point inside of this little retail shopping plaza or which ones are going to open the door for her. Now, Amy can see all of this. Mila is holding onto the stair railing at one point, quote, like a monkey trying to hold on. He just keeps ripping her more and more, trying to drag her into the spa. So now he wants to take her into her spa. Mila says she knows that if the two of them are alone in her spa right now, he's going to kill her. She said, I didn't know whether he was going to drag me in and then they would have to resuscitate my body. If he got me inside, I knew I was going to die. So she is doing absolutely everything in her power to stay outside of that spa. She said, I start to get beat. It all went so fast and so slow, whether it would be punches, slapping, choking, that kind of nature. I'm trying to reason with him, trying to talk to him, but there is nobody behind those eyes anymore. So there's no reasoning with him. He just has these dark serial killer eyes where there's nothing to reason with. It's like looking into a black hole. You're saying words, you're trying to evoke emotions, but there is nothing behind those eyes. I'm just trying to buy time. That's what Mila says. Now, Wade has Mila pinned up against the hallway wall. Both hands are around her throat. The only time he takes his hands off her throat is so that he can pummel her face with his fist. At this point, two things happen at once. One, they start hearing police sirens in the distance coming closer and closer. Two, Wade punches Mila in the face so hard, her nose, quote, explodes. Just blood explodes everywhere. Mila thinks this is either one of those, or maybe both of these things that kind of freaks Wade out because it seems to take him off his guard, giving her just enough time to duck underneath his arm and run away. She bolts it across the parking lot. A neighboring business opens her door. She's rushing and they slam the door closed right behind her. They lock it. And by the time that the police arrive, Wade is gone. He has just driven away. The police have an idea though. Why don't we lure him out? That's what we can do. The plan is Mila's going to convince Wade to meet her in the parking lot of a local restaurant called Joe's Crab Shack, which surprisingly or unsurprisingly, I don't know at this point, but this man is headache inducing. Wade agrees. He's like, yeah, sure, Mila, I'll come meet up with you. He's going to meet up with her at Joe's Crab Shack. There are 2 officers on site that's going to block his car so that he can't leave. And they actually end up talking to Wade. There's footage of this. He rolls down his window. The officers...
Wait. This happened when? Right away?
This happened like an hour or two after the assault.
Wade knows damn well the cops were coming.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me meet you.
I guess he was confident enough that Mila was not pressing charges or that maybe they didn't believe her. I'm not sure what he's thinking. But he shows up and he rolls down his window and the officer is reassuring him because he doesn't want to scare him off. I'm not going to arrest you. We're just going to detain you for a second or two to figure out what's going on. So the officer leaves for 2 seconds to get a backup officer. He turns around. Wade is driving off. Again.
Just wait till my partner gets here. L41, gonna need a couple more units. Don't go anywhere. Hey. Alpha 18, hour over there.
Like 1 second he's there, the next second he's not there. He drove off from the Buddha bar in the Hellcat, he drove away from the spot, and now he's driving away from Joe's Crab Shack. And the police are confused. Where the hell is this guy going next? They don't have to wait too long to find out because soon enough they get a 911 call from the owner of a local print store, Joshua. The call was along the lines of, hello, I have a friend of mine who came in here with blood covered all over him. He said he killed somebody. His name is Wade Wilson. And I told him I was going to go smoke a cigarette and I would be right back, but I'm calling you. The police are now standing in the parking lot of the print shop. It's a very busy day. Wade is long gone. And once again, this is the police's 3rd time missing him this morning. He's gone. But this time he left them a little something. The car. The car is parked in the parking lot. The car that he drove to the print shop. The car that they're staring at, though, is not Mila's car. It's not the Hellcat. It's a black Nissan. And they know that this is not registered to Wade either. So it's not Wade's car. It's not Mila's car. So the question is, then whose car is this? The police officer puts his face up to the window and he's pretty much like cupping his hand so he can see better inside. And he decides, we gotta open this car. We gotta break into the car because there is blood inside. There might be someone in the trunk. That is what the officers believe.
Whoa.
Stephanie was at work when she gets a call. This is Monday, the day after Buddha Bar. She gets a call from the police and
Stephanie is...
Christine's friend. They were the ones that were at Jason's.
Right. Okay, yes.
But they knew Wade as Junior.
Right, okay.
So she gets a call from the police and they're like, hey, we found your friend Christine's car, her black Nissan. What do you mean you found her car? It was never missing. She's so confused by this. Now, here's what the police are able to piece together by this point. After talking to Stephanie and hearing her side of events from the night before, this is what they gather. It appears Wade Wilson went to the Buddha bar with his girlfriend Mila. He then steals her $80,000 Hellcat and has Jason, a random guy he meets at the bar, drive him and the two girls, Stephanie and Christine, back to Jason's house. Afterwards, they try to go to Christine's, but because Wade cannot drive the Hellcat because it's a manual stick shift, they leave it in Jason's neighborhood and they Uber to Christine's house. So now it's Wade, aka Junior, Stephanie, and Christine at Christine's house. Stephanie says that she was there for maybe 15 minutes, but she had to go back home because she had work the next day and she had to take her son to school. Stephanie turned to Christine and she asked her, "Is everything okay? Like, am I okay to go?" She said that Christine gave her a hug and kissed her goodbye. And so she's like, "Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow." Stephanie says if Christine was concerned about this guy in any way, she would have not let me leave that house. If she was scared in any way, she would have told me, "Let's get this guy out of here." So Stephanie leaves. She walks past Christine's black Nissan parked in the driveway and goes back home. All morning, Stephanie has not gotten a text back or call back from Christine, but she's not freaked out about this because technically they essentially pulled an all-nighter last night. She just assumed she doesn't have work. She's probably knocked out right now. Meanwhile, that morning, Mila's phone is blowing up from calls from an unknown number. The police track that number and it's shown to be Christine's phone number. But the two girls, they don't know each other. I mean, sure, they were at the bar, the same bar last night, but they never spoke. Why would Christine's phone be calling Mila? Because Wade had taken Christine's phone, but why? Mila doesn't know. She just wants her car back. The Hellcat, right? That's presumably parked somewhere near Jason's house still. Wade agrees to meet up with her at her spa, but he shows up in this black Nissan. He attempts to kidnap her and then later essentially attempts to murder her, drives off. He goes to meet with her again later at Joe's Crab Shack, not knowing that the police are there waiting for him. He pulls up in the same black Nissan, Christine's car, and then he manages to drive away. And now he's gone to a print shop where his friend Joshua is the owner, and he tells him that he's killed people. Joshua rushes to call 911, and by the time that the authorities arrive, Wade is gone, but he's left the black Nissan in the lot, which happens to have blood in it. This is what the police know. And the police are very concerned that they're going to find Christine's body in the car.
But how did he leave without a Nissan?
I guess he just ran off.
He ran
Yeah.
barefoot?
Yeah.
Wow.
And instead, they find a phone inside the car. Now, this phone is not Wade's phone, and it's also not Christine's phone or Stephanie's phone. It's a complete stranger's phone that has no correlation to any of these people in the car with blood inside. Usually when you see a vulture, it's never a good sign. Vultures are literally called vultures because they feed off of anything that they can find, and sometimes there are bodies that they feed off of. Police find vultures surrounding this wooded lot nearby, and it's like this empty wooded lot. The police decide, we gotta go investigate what's in there because that's a lot of vulture activity. They walk in and they search the place, and they find a woman's body. One of her fingers and nasal bones were fractured. She had injuries all over on both sides of her body, bruising up and down her arms, her hands. Her ribs were broken, as well as the hyoid bone in the neck. Her name is Diane Ruiz, and Wade Wilson had just recently killed her. Wade is sitting in the living room of this nice empty house. This is after the print shop. He's sitting in this nice, honestly kind of expensive house with 5 crumbled up cans of White Claw next to him, the seltzer, the alcoholic beverage. He had some popcorn. He took a shower, so he feels better. He put on some fresh clothes. They're not his, but it's the least of his problems right now. And he grabs his phone and he starts calling the person that he usually goes to. Now, whenever something bad happens, whenever he's in trouble and he needs to get out of it, this is the person he calls. Wade had never been that close with his biological dad. In fact, he only recently saw his biological dad for the first time, 7 years before all of this? Wade is 25. He met him for the first time when he was 18. For all of Wade's childhood, he had been living with his adoptive parents. His biological parents had been 14 and 15 when they got pregnant with Wade. They just weren't in the situation to take care of him, so he gets adopted by a family that went to church with the mom, with the biological mom. They already had 2 daughters. They're of the age where they can really take care of a full family. And they think, let's bring Wade into our family and make it a family of, 5. For 13 years, it works. Wade is a very active member of their family. He's always spending time with them. He's spending time with his 2 sisters. And it's actually when he turns 13, the family starts figuring out something is very different about Wade. It starts off with these smaller things. One time, Wade's sister was giving him a haircut, but because he was wearing this hoodie, it just keeps getting in the way of making sure that the hair is even in the back. And she asks him, can you take off the hoodie? Which he does. But as he's taking it off, she notices something incredibly alarming. He's wearing a t-shirt underneath, and he had stapled his t-shirt to his skin. He had stapled the arms of his t-shirt to his arm, the sleeves of his t-shirt to his arm. There's just staples in his skin. Nobody knows why, but I think everyone can agree that's very alarming behavior. Regardless, Wade reaches out to his biological dad when he's 18 years old. And the 2 of them, they've been trying for the past 7 years to have some kind of relationship. It's a little bit hard to do when the only time that they've really seen each other is once. And Wade only ever calls his biological dad Steven whenever he's in trouble or he needs money. Kind of like now. His biological dad, Steven, picks up and he's like, what's going on? Wade sounds really frantic, like he's about to lose it. And he keeps repeating to his dad that he did something that he can't take back. And he's in big, big trouble. He needs help leaving town. There's 2 people who can't be here anymore. That's how he puts it. Because he killed them. He's a killer. That's what he tells him. Wade's dad does not believe him. Because he knows that Wade is always on drugs. And he's thinking he might be high right now. And he's like making up stories. He's hallucinating. He's delusional. Something's going on. But he's also kind of a fibber. Like he likes to tell these crazy stories. And most of the time they're not true. So he thinks, okay, this guy is just really out of his mind, bonkers high. But Wade keeps calling him throughout the rest of the night, giving his dad more details on what's going on.
He just told me, he did something. There was 2 people gone that would not be back. He said, I'm a killer. I just told him to call me back. I just thought it was another story,
Finally, at 10 p.m. that night, so almost 24 hours after the Buddha bar, Monday night, he starts telling his dad in detail about how he went home with a girl named Christine from the Buddha bar. They hung out, and after she fell asleep, he got on top of her and he, quote, I choked that bitch. He stated that he stayed in Christine's house for a little bit longer afterwards with her dead body, and then eventually he decides, I should probably dispose of her body. He grabs blankets, clothes, and he rolls her up inside the blanket, like almost how you would roll up a rug, sandwiches her, and the thought was, initially, he was going to put her into the trunk of her car. But he couldn't lift her. He told his dad that he thought rigor mortis had already set in, so it was making her body very stiff, and he thinks that's why he couldn't place her in the trunk. So he just leaves her in the apartment, takes her car, and leaves. The dad is periodically asking questions like, why would you do that, Wade? I don't understand. Why would you do that? And he says, I don't know, Dad. I don't know why I did it. I just wanted to do it. Wade then tells his dad about how he found a woman walking on the side of the road the next morning. And he was stopping to ask her for directions. This is after he beats up Mila. This is after he tries to kill Mila, but before Joe's Crab Shack.
So this is like you're saying like 9:30 a.m.-ish?
Yes. He finds a woman on the side of the road and he stops to ask her for directions. Somehow he manages to get this woman into the car, whether it was by pure physical force or manipulation, I don't know. He strangles her, finds a place to dispose of her body, drags her out of the car, and then he realizes she's not dead. So he gets into the car and runs her over, quote, until she looked like spaghetti.
He just saw a random woman on the street and decided to brutally
Murder her. Yeah.
For no reason.
Yes. His dad was also confused. So Steven asked, why would you do that? You don't even know this woman. And he said, I thought, F it, already got one down. The most chilling part of this is the whole time Wade is describing what he did to his dad. And Steven, the dad, describes it as being very excited. Like he wants his dad to be excited with him. Imagine if your son won the lottery. They want you to share in that joy and excitement with them. That's what he sounds like. He sounds very proud and happy.
When he talked about these 2 people who were no longer with us and that he was a killer, did he show any type of remorse?
No, ma'am.
But he also needs his dad's help right now to get away with this. Help him run. Get him out of town. Stephen, Wade's dad, is quiet for a moment before he says, "Okay, give me your address. I'll send you an Uber." Not too long after, a car pulls up to the driveway. Then another, and then another. But it's not an Uber. It's the U.S. Marshal's office, and they are here to arrest Wade Wilson. The police had already reached out to Wade's father, Stephen, and he had been helping them. While he's on the phone with Wade, trying to send him an Uber to help him get out of town, his wife Melanie is on the side texting the police the address to where Wade is. Wow. Stephen is actually pretty honest. He said, as a dad, I did hesitate on whether or not I should turn him in or not, or help him get away. And he just thought about the immediately. I don't think he pondered on this quite long, but he said immediately he just thought, what if that had been his wife or his sister or his daughter, right? He can't do this. And what if Wade is going to kill again? Then that's on him. He knows that he doesn't have a choice. He has to turn his son in.
And where was Wade? You say
He had broken into a random person's house in a suburban neighborhood, and he was drinking 5 White Claws, eating popcorn, taking a shower, and wearing the homeowner's clothes.
And nobody was home.
They had recently just gone to Ohio, so this is like their second home. I believe they were on a flight to Ohio when this was happening, so they had just left.
Wow.
Yeah, the timing is a little crazy. Now, Wade is arrested very quickly inside a stranger's house. And he's very quick to tell the police everything he told his dad on one condition. That he gets a burger and some fries. He tells the police everything. He starts from the beginning about how he stole Mila's car from Buddha Bar, goes to Jason's house where he leaves the Hellcat because he can't drive it. Then he goes to Christine's where they're finally alone. Stephanie had already left. He strangles Christine to death. The whole thing is just bizarre. He doesn't give reasoning. After they were having fun, she was in her bed falling asleep. He just gets on top of her and, quote, "I just decided I was going to kill her." Then he steals her car, drives to meet with Mila, nearly kills her, runs from the police that are called on him from the spa, and as he's driving around, he sees a woman walking down the street, minding her own business. He stops the car and asks for directions. He does not need directions. This woman is Diane Ruiz. She was walking the few blocks from her house to work. She works as a bartender at the Moose Lodge. It's maybe a 15-minute walk. She's the bartender there, but I mean, honestly, she's a lot more than that. The Moose Lodge always holds these kind of events for even kids and elderly. Sans alcohol, like no alcohol, of course. And she was always there working these events. People loved her. I mean, she had worked there for 3 years now. Everybody knew her. Whether he convinced her that he truly had no idea and it would just be so much easier if she could just get in the car for 2 seconds and help him down the street, or whether he forcibly dragged her into the car, or perhaps he told her, "Thank you so much for helping me. I can just drop you off at work since it's on the way." I don't know. I personally think that he forcibly dragged Diane into the car. He doesn't state that. He says that she willingly got into the car, but I disagree. Somehow Diane is in this man's car. He starts choking her while he's driving, and his head is on a swivel. He says that he's just looking for a place to dispose of Diane's body now. He stops near this empty wooded lot, drags her out, and realizes she's still breathing. He lays her body on the ground and he gets into the car and starts driving forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward. And a neighbor even testifies.
Whoa.
A couple was eating breakfast that morning and they had looked outside and they saw this random black Nissan just driving back and forth in one place over and over and over again, and then eventually drove off. And they didn't think anything of it until a little while later, there's crime scene tape everywhere.
You were kidding me, and they didn't see the body.
No.
Wow.
He said, quote, "I ran over her until she looked like spaghetti." And then he just leaves. And the authorities, I mean, they have the same questions as Wade's dad. Why would you do that? And he just tells the investigator, quote, "It came across my mind to just murder, just kill, kill, kill." He says, it was just like, you know what? I've already done it once. I'm going to do it again. It came across my mind to just murder, 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 just kill, kill, kill. He said that he could also sense Diane's fear, and that made him want to kill her. He said she really wanted out of the car bad at this point, and I could tell. I can sense her fear. I'm like a lion, you know, and you're the prey. I can sense it. They can't get away from me, even if they wanted to. I'm too strong. I don't look strong, maybe, necessarily, but I can, believe it or not. I'm not trying to be mean, but I could take either of you two down. He's talking to the 2 detectives. He's like, I don't look strong, but I could take you down. And he said her fear is what triggered him to kill her because he's a lion and she's the prey. He allegedly tells the authorities, and I would do it again. Afterwards, he drives to Joe's Crab Shack where he is confronted by the police and it manages to escape once more. Then he drives to the print shop and manages to escape once more. As for why he took Christine's phone, he states that somewhere along the Buddha bar or Jason's house, he had lost his phone. And before he left Christine's, so she's already deceased at this point, he needed a phone. He grabs hers and uses her face to unlock it with Face ID. Whoa. And he leaves. Police had already arrived at Christine's house by this point, and immediately upon walking in, they knew that clearly something was amiss. Someone had placed what seemed like a roll of blankets just in the middle of the hallway between the bedroom and the kitchen. They slowly approached the wad of blankets, and they quickly realized that at the center was Christine. Just from looking at her, her face is badly bruised. She has a swollen eye bruising up and down her body. Her fingernails were broken and chipped, indicating that she was asleep when he started strangling her, but she awoke and there was clearly a struggle and she fought back hard. And what's crazy is this isn't even the first time that the police had known about Wade Wilson. A few months before the murders, there was another situation. Kelly did not know Wade Wilson. Kelly is another woman, but she knew Stephen Wilson, not his dad, okay? But that was her boyfriend that she had been living with for the past 6 months. They start living together 2018, but the incident takes place February 2019 and the murders are October 2019. So they start maybe dating a year before the murders. Kelly and Steven are full on living together when she finds some weird things in the house. It's like this weird glass contraption. It's obviously not hers, so it's got to be Steven's. And she doesn't straight up ask Steven about it because maybe she just has an inkling that he's going to lie to her. She ends up taking a picture of it, posting it onto Reddit, and asking Redditors, "Hi, hello, what is this? Is this like a drug thing? I don't know anything." Everyone starts commenting, "Oh yeah, that's a makeshift crack pipe. Your boyfriend's doing crack." Kelly also finds out that his name, her boyfriend's name that she's been living with for 6 months, isn't even Stephen Wilson. Well, I mean it is, but his real full name is Wade Stephen Wilson. And he's got 2 kids. He has children. Wade Wilson has kids. And he did not tell her about that. She ends up finding out through all of this by herself. She confronts him and he tries to convince her, "Those are my kids. Those are my friend's kids." Which, what? Like, we're not even getting into the drug usage. She hates it. She doesn't want drugs in the house. And the fact that he's constantly lying to her. In addition to all of that, Kelly would catch him cheating on her multiple times with multiple different women. He would deny it. She would at times catch him on camera cheating and he would still deny it. She said this guy is a master manipulator. That's how he lives his life. I guess one day Wade had enough of being called out on his own bullshit because Kelly comes home and everything is gone. Everyone and everything is gone. Not just Wade's stuff, but all of her stuff is gone too. He even took her gun and ran off. She reports it to the police and they do nothing about it. We got back from our trip in South Korea and my husband did one of the most surprising things. He was actually able to speak a lot of Korean. I'm talking conversational, understandable Korean, and there was barely even an accent when he was talking. And I do have to thank Rosetta Stone for that because the moment that I found out that we were going, I told him he needed to study every day, every hour, every minute because I just didn't want him to get lost in the city without me and be unable to find his way back, even though he only started days before our trip to get back into the flow of really going into the Korean lessons. I have to say that I was really impressed of how he did. But he said Rosetta Stone made it very easy for him, which makes sense because Rosetta Stone is the most trusted language learning program for 30 years with millions of users and 25 languages offered. My husband really liked that Rosetta Stone forced him to immerse into the language, meaning it doesn't give him any English translations. So he could learn to speak, listen, and think in Korean. It teaches you the language how you would naturally naturally learn, meaning you learn words, phrases, and then sentences. This is not one of those apps where you just learn a few words a day and then forget about it. Rosetta Stone is built for long-term retention. It even comes with this built-in true accent feature, meaning it's going to give you feedback on your pronunciation. It's almost like having a personal trainer for your accent. You can train anywhere with Rosetta Stone because it's built for the desktop, or it has an app, it has an audio companion, and you even have the ability to download lessons offline. Rosetta Stone has Korean, Japanese, Chinese, and so many more languages for you to learn from. You can literally get a lifetime membership for all 25 languages, meaning you literally get access to all 25 language courses for 50% off. No matter where you plan to go or what trip you want to take, Rosetta Stone can help you learn the language. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, Rotten Mango listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/rotten. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/rotten today. Kelly would later say he didn't have any violent tendencies. He yelled a lot and was mentally abusive. He kicked a door in once, but he never hit me, and I just thought I was in a shit relationship. I didn't think anything of it until he tried to kill me. A few months before the murders, February 2019. The murders take place October 2019. This is the day before Kelly's birthday. Wade comes over to her house and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm going to go to rehab. I'm going to get the help that I need, and we're going to be happy again. By the way, Kelly has like a whole TikTok series about this. She's like, I've been on this train before. I know where this is going. No, like, you're not going to rehab and I know it. They start getting into this heated argument, screaming at each other. Wade leans over and starts choking Kelly, throws her into the backseat of her own car. He grabs a knife, cuts off all of her clothes, essays her. He starts biting her all over the face. He ends up busting open her lip. She's got ligature marks on her hands, knees, neck. Her neck marks are so deep that Wade's fingerprints are literally imprinted into the bruises on her neck. He then proceeds to tie her up, gag her, drive 3.5 hours to the Florida Keys, where he is definitely not going to rehab. Now, mind you, this whole car ride, Kelly has a shirt tied around her head. She's literally being kidnapped. Leggings stuffed into her mouth, and she's naked in the backseat. She also has a broken foot because he slammed the door on her foot. He just takes her on a journey, driving through McDonald's, stealing her phone, selling it to buy crack, and eventually he leaves her in her car in the middle of nowhere to go hook up with another girl. Kelly manages to untie herself. She drives all the way back home. This is like 4 a.m. at this point. She said that she was speeding back home, quote, going like 100 miles an hour, trying to get someone to help me, hoping that I would get pulled over so that I could explain what was happening. Kelly states that the police took pictures of all of her injuries. She had a kit performed and received treatment from the hospital for several hours, but she states that the police did not care for the case. They found Wade down in Florida Keys, and he told the authorities, Kelly's just kind of into that thing. Like, into that kind of thing, choking and rough stuff. That's all it took.
And police just stopped.
The incident report reads, quote, based on everything learned during the investigation, at the time the case will be inactive due to the following. There are no witnesses to the alleged crime and no evidence to establish probable cause. The suspect has continued to deny the allegations and refuses to submit to an examination. The case will be inactive pending further investigations. Kelly also claims that the day that the police decided to deem the case inactive, Wade told authorities that Kelly was stalking him, that she was warning his current girlfriend about him, and that would be stalking, and the police were going to open an investigation into her. I don't think anything came of it, but still.
When I tried to pursue this, all of that disappeared. Everything from my trial was gone. My photos could no longer be found. No one found them. No one has them. I've never seen them, but I remember them being taken.
Kelly has also stated on her TikTok that Wade tied up another girlfriend of his and threw her out into a parking lot completely naked, and that at one point he dated a man and ended up stabbing him. Yes, so Wade dated a man prior to, I think it was after Kelly, and he ended up stabbing the man, stabbing his boyfriend.
This is all from Kelly.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, Kelly states that she has since gotten an attorney, and she firmly believes that had the police believed her or even tried to investigate a little bit, had they arrested Wade, he would have not killed the other 2 women later on. She's also very vocal about how much she hates the man, which is understandable. But she says, I want nothing to do with him until it's time to watch him fry. And I will be in the front row with a big old sign saying bye. Yeah, fry as in executed. What is certifiably frightening is the fact that when Kelly shared her story on TikTok after Wade Wilson's arrest, after he was already going viral on TikTok for being hot, okay, people commented on her video, well, you're a 3 and he's a 10. After her traumatic story of being kidnapped and essayed by a now convicted killer, and how perhaps if the police had listened to her, none of this would have happened, there were some people still focused on the fact that they believe he's more conventionally attractive. I really hope that these netizens are not 18 or registered to vote in the US this upcoming election, because I'm terrified. Now, some people on TikTok seem to excuse double homicide for the pure fact that they like this man's face tattoos. It's kind of wild. That is why Wade Wilson is going viral on TikTok. They keep playing his court videos with the Joker quotes overlaid or the Joker audio overlaid. One TikTok is of him in court, and there's audio of the Joker's voice from the movies saying, remember this, nobody watches you harder than the people who don't like you. So give them a show they'll never forget.
It's like fan edits, right?
Yes, he's on trial for double homicide. There's also this one moment in court where I don't know why he's doing this, but he's kind of placing both of his hands and sliding them over his frontal pants area. And the comments are genuinely thirsting over this move. They love his hand placement. And when someone tells them, hey, this is actually insane, they say, we don't like what he did, but we just like his face tattoos. And see, I have a problem with that. Let us have a full rundown of some of his tattoos and their meanings, shall we? Even after some of these people have been told what the tattoos mean, they still don't care though. I'm just gonna preface that. He has the word live tattooed on his fingers, L-I-V-E. He has TTG tattooed on the right side of his forehead, which allegedly stands for time to go or train to go, as in ready to fight. He has bred for war tattooed in big letters under his chin, again, as in ready to fight, ready for war. He has the letters NMM on his left jaw. That the meaning seems a bit more up in the air, but some people believe that it's a reference to Deadpool, the Marvel character.
Wait, what's that too?
N as in Nancy, M as in mom, M as in mom. So that's the tattoo that Wade Wilson is the Deadpool's name in the movie.
So they share the same name.
Yes, and that's why some people call him the Deadpool killer right now, especially because the new Deadpool 3 came out around the same time that his verdict came out. And yeah, it's just the timing is horrendous. Now, Deadpool's alter ego is Wade Wilson, and Deadpool actually gets M-Day tattooed on his body for the day that the mutants lost their power. So some people think it's a reference to his name being Deadpool, but it's very unclear. Around his eye, he has the words, "Why so serious?" which is likely a reference to Heath Ledger's iconic line in 2008's The Dark Knight as the Joker. And then he has the words, "Ha ha ha," tattooed underneath. He also has a wannabe Glasgow smile tattooed onto his face, which is, you know, where the Joker has his lips cut to his ears. He has it tattooed though. So it's not a real cut. It's a tattoo. And it might have to do with Heath Ledger's next line in the film, which is, "He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face." So it's, why so serious? He sticks a blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face. He also has the number 14 on the right side of his neck, which is a white supremacist mantra that stands for the 14 words they live by, which is, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. He has the number 88 tattooed on his neck next to the 14, which is the numeric code for the 8th letter of the alphabet, aka H. So 88 would be HH, and for white supremacists, it stands for Hail Hitler. And the combination of the numeric codes 14 and 88 is typically a very white supremacist number. He also has 2 Nazi symbols, one under his right eye. Yeah, in case you're like, well, no, the 1488 could mean something else. Maybe it's January 4th, 1988. No, he has a Nazi symbol under his right eye and another one on his scalp. But a lot of the times the one on his scalp is hidden by his hair. It's huge. It takes up like half of the right side of his scalp. Now, the thing is, when he went to the Buddha bar in 2019, when he committed these murders, he did not have any face tattoos. Otherwise, I don't think Milo would have dated him. I don't think Christine would have given him the time of day. I don't think Diane would have even stopped momentarily to help give him directions. I mean, you see one Nazi symbol on the face, you're running. But he didn't have any of these tattoos on his face in 2019 or in his mugshot. He wasn't allowed on bail. So how did he suddenly show up to court with these tattoos all over his face? October 2020. Almost exactly a year after the murders, Wade has been sitting in prison waiting for this upcoming trial. He was obviously denied bail. And that is when a little note gets slipped underneath a different cell door. The note reads along the lines of, I'm here for 2 murders, but I'm going to leave around 1 or 2 a.m. There's also an address. This is where I want to be picked up. It seems like an arrangement of sorts. What do you mean you're leaving at 1 or 2 in the morning? This is prison. You don't just get to leave when you want to leave. A man named Curtis in the cell picks up the note and he smirks. Message received. I mean, for Curtis, not for Curtis's cellmate who's sitting there like, what do these people think we're doing? This is not an episode of Prison Break. He goes to the guards, tells them what he saw, everything. He tells them from start to finish. The guards storm the entire cell block, full lockdown in pod 1. And sure enough, in one of the cells, the glass on the window had been cracked. Side note, the window is too tall for anyone to actually climb through, but the metal stool that was bolted onto the ground was also found to have been pried off. Someone had ripped it off from the ground. So whoever did this, they're determined to get out, but not smart.
Wait. So, what does that mean? So they broke
the window is
window?
really tall. So there's no way that anyone, even someone 6'6", could get through the window unless they have some sort of leverage. But the furniture in cells are usually bolted to the ground because of that reason. Someone had pried off a metal stool that's bolted to the ground.
So they can step on it.
Yes, they ripped it off so that they can step on it.
Wow.
They're determined, but they're not smart because even if you get that window cracked open, it's so small. Like, they make them small for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not going to fit an average male body through it, let alone a 6'6" dude. Additionally, even after the window, you're still talking about multiple layers of barbed wire, guards with guns, security, alarm trigger, CCTV. I guess we'll never know if they had a whole plan to outsmart any of that because both Wade and his cellmate are caught. They're charged with attempted prison escape and criminal mischief. I mean, side note, the whole time Wade is in prison waiting for his trial, he is just overall a mess. He keeps reaching out to news networks to talk about what happened, and each time he would just change his story. First, he stated Christine was alive and well when he left her house, and that Diane was the one that asked him for a ride, and that he dropped her off at a bus stop.
Are you guilty of those murders? Did you commit those murders concerning Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz?
No, ma'am, I did not commit these murders, and I'm innocent. I did not, no, ma'am.
April of 2023, Wade was caught running an El Chapo wannabe scheme in prison. He was charged with attempted trafficking of crystal meth inside of prison. He also snitched on another inmate of his who was trying to kill the mother of his child. There is an inmate by the name of Tristan Gendon, and he wanted to kill the mother of his child. He asks Wade, can you help me kill the mother of my child, who's obviously not in prison? And Wade is like, how would I do that? I'm in prison. And he says, well, of course, I think you know some people on the outside. He promises Wade a $250,000 payout, which I highly doubt that he's telling the truth here. And I think Wade also knew that Tristan is not a believable character. Tristan even wrote this letter for Wade detailing how he's going to get paid. He literally writes the evidence. He writes, next plan involves going to funeral home and crocking my pop's safe open to extract drug money and hit money for Valerie. ADT security pin to disarm system is blank. Garage door code is blank. Easy ass in and out, and you can open safe with diamond blade demolition saw. Easy $250,000 in there. Could have been done already. Yeah, Wade wasn't buying it because he goes straight to the prison guards and snitches on him. He says, people would accept $100,000, $200,000, surely, but I'm not that type of person. I don't know her personally whatsoever from a can of paint, but it doesn't matter. She's a person.
No way.
I think that he knew he wasn't going to get paid. I think that he knew that he didn't have anyone on the outside to do this, and he was going to use this to his advantage to make himself look like a moral person. But it's just all very transparent what he's trying to do here, no?
Yeah.
So he actually ends up receiving the tattoos in prison. He gets all of the face tattoos in prison, but he chose to get these tattoos in prison while awaiting trial. Now, obviously, these new prison face tattoos are not going to do him any favors during the trial. His attorneys motioned to let Wade change his appearance for the trial, aka, can we please let him get a haircut, get some suits, and clean up his face tattoos, whether it's covering them up with makeup or something? The judge grants this. They give Wade permission to cover up his face tattoos, his clearly racist, obnoxious, and honestly just very poorly done tattoos on his face. But when Wade shows up to court with his new suit, new haircut, and new face tattoos, his attorney sits down next to him, takes one look at the side of Wade's face, and he looks genuinely disgusted by his own client. He shakes his head and he whispers to the co-counsel, and he just looks grossed out because Wade asked the judge for a haircut. He does get one, but he does a strong fade on the sides of his head, and he's basically showcasing the giant Nazi symbol tattooed onto his scalp.
Yeah, so he gets the tattoo in prison, these very, very specific tattoos, and he decides to show it in court.
Yes.
I think that says more than enough.
Yeah, and he goes out of his way to show it in court.
Yeah.
Okay, covering up the face tattoos, maybe that's... I honestly don't know why he wouldn't do that. But to intentionally get a haircut to show off the scalp Nazi symbol, it's crazy.
And this is not even like a momentary, like, oh, I'm not.
No.
Like, this is like a decision he made over and over and over.
Yes. Now, that moment of the attorney being disgusted by his own client has gone viral online, as well as another moment that Wade shares with another one of his attorneys, a blonde female attorney. He is leaning closer to whisper something, which is kind of what you do in court. You can't really speak loudly. But that moment has been romanticized by some people on TikTok because they keep comparing this scene to the scene of Harley Quinn and Joker from Suicide Squad. Yeah, there are edits all over TikTok of just Wade walking into the courtroom, and I guess there's a noticeable bulge in his pants. And the comments on the fan edit of him walking into court read, "It walked into the room before he did." And people are having a blast. There's another fan edit where he's walking into the courtroom in his suit, and there's two police officers watching him because, you know, he's a dangerous killer. But the song on this one goes, as I walk, you know the song, as I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I take a look at my life and I realize there's nothing left. They think he's the Joker. And the comments read, he walks in like he's about to lead a very important all-company staff meeting. He walks in like he's a model for Hugo Boss. The attorney has a thing for him for sure. He walked in like he's the attorney. He walks into the courtroom as if he's the judge, heart emoji. He walks in like he's the president. He's the CEO of the court. Another fan edit includes a song by Eminem called Spacebound. The lyrics go, nobody knows me, I'm cold, walk down this road all alone, it's no one's fault but my own, it's the path I've chosen to go, frozen to snow, I show no emotions whatsoever, so don't ask me why I have no love for fucking hoes.
That is crazy.
It's a fan edit with just screen captures of him from the trial. You know, the trial where he's being tried for double homicide? And one of the comments reads, as a family therapist myself, I cannot imagine this court without a report and explanation of how the adoptive parents treated and influenced this young man. Another fan edit is just of him walking into court. There's a sad song playing in the back. The caption reads, how do people say he's showing no emotions? I see he is sad, hopeless, and helpless. Let's forgive because at the end of the day, nothing is going to change. Peace. And they do a peace emoji. Another comment reads, I can see his aura. He killed his emotions too. He accepts his situation. That's why he looks like that. In another TikTok, there's whole TikTok pages, multiple TikTok pages dedicated to him. One comment on that page reads, I don't support what you did, but I just see a lot of suffering in your eyes. There is also a change.org petition to stop Wade Wilson's death penalty execution because this is a death penalty trial in Florida, which I wouldn't even be talking about this petition in this context if it were a genuine, or at least in my opinion, a genuine petition organized by those who genuinely just are opposed to the death penalty across the board. And regardless of if it's Wade Wilson or anybody else in the world, they would be fighting for their rights to live. That is a very different story. We are not here to argue whether the death penalty is good or bad. But just reading the comments left behind on this petition, it is pretty clear. Some of these petitioners, they could care less about the morality behind executions carried out by the state. Even the original petition, again, like I said, if it's a petition created by someone who just genuinely is opposed to the death penalty, I would not be talking about it in this manner. But the petition itself includes a poem. The poem reads, "You wear a mask of tattoos as your disguise, but I see the pain and sadness in your eyes. Wow. It's clear by your beauty that God wanted you to live a beautiful life, filled with joy and the love of a devoted wife. But after a life of abuse, a damaged boy remains, a boy who is shackled in sorrow and chains. You had a life of torture and didn't get the chance to find a way to fight the demons you face night and day. As the verdict looms, the world spreads hate, but let us pause for a moment and contemplate, because behind the bravado, the world should see a frightened boy who deserves our sympathy. In your gaze, there's a desperate plea for a little understanding and empathy. The world sees a villain who should never be free, but they don't know your full story."
That is crazy that somebody came up with that.
Yeah, they thought they ate too.
Yeah.
Yeah. One comment on the petition reads, "Save this man. He's too young to die. This man doesn't deserve death. He needs help." Praying emoji, crying emoji, broken heart emoji. This is so heartbreaking. Another reads, "I wish I would have known him sooner. So many people don't realize how much good there is within. Society failed. Society failed everybody. I do not support the death penalty in this matter or case. The death penalty is murder. Murder is a sin. Therefore, if he is sentenced to the death penalty, it makes them no better than a murderer."
Oh.
He still needed time to develop. He's 25, okay? He had a rough upbringing into his adolescence. The pain in his eyes from seeing his dad brought out hidden trauma of neglect and abandonment. Suffering in your own pain brings a lot of cognitive issues and out of touch of reality. This guy deserves a second chance to realize there's consequences. He may be a father, and we don't want the same pattern to occur with his children. He has suppressed thoughts and needs proper psychological treatment. He's very young to be sentenced to death. Yes, he did murder 2 innocent victims, but I believe he does have mental issues. I've been exposed to people with different types of mental issues, and I'm sure if you get to know him, you would notice these things. He should have received medical help when he was a small child. I believe that he would not be at this point today then. Another one reads, "Nobody can decide if a person lives or not. Not just because it's the law, it means, they can decide if a person lives or not. F them." It doesn't even make coherent sense. At this point, irony is just sitting in the room with us. Another person comments, "We all make bad choices, some worse than others, but there's no reason to kill somebody for the things they did."
These people delusional.
One just reads, "Save Wade. He doesn't deserve the death penalty. Save Wade, save Wade, save Wade, save Wade." Or, "I think he was set up for this. He deserves a chance to speak." Yes, he was given a chance to speak. He said he ran an innocent woman over until she turned into spaghetti. That's what he said. Some people in the comments actually question his guilt. So that's a whole thing. Some people believe that he's being framed. Where did they get this crazy idea, you ask? From Wade Wilson himself. In 2020, the year after his initial arrest, he told a news station that he had been involved with some very shady people in the past, like really shady. They were traffickers, trafficking syndicates. They trafficked all sorts of commodities, drugs, humans. He used to manage the product, aka he used to groom women for them, manipulate the women into becoming victims, and then he wanted out. He was like, "My soul needs to heal, basically. I need to get out." And they said, "No, you're never getting out." And he said, "No, I must." And they framed him for the murders.
A man is guilty until proved innocent, and he is not guilty until proved innocent. And the thing about it is that I don't, I'm just a man sitting in jail, and I'm being slandered, I'm being talked down to, I'm being put on a very bad place. I'm being put in a very bad place, and it's not fair to me. I have a family, I have 2 children.
So because of that, one comment in the change.org petition reads, "There are too many holes in this story. You know how many people got locked up and are not actually guilty? Imagine putting someone to death and they weren't guilty. I believe he's covering for someone. He already said he had to lie and confess to protect his kids. What if he didn't do it and we kill him? And the death penalty won't bring them back? Someone who is in pain and has had lots of trauma deserves a chance to be happy and find God, even if it's locked away. He deserves a chance at life with meaning, and his kids deserve to have their daddy around." It's likely that some of these netizens have a sexual interest in those who commit crimes. It usually manifests in those who believe that they can change someone, that someone is so evil and is so willing to kill, but they will go to the ends of the earth to, I guess, protect the ones that they love. that only they can heal the inner child of the killer and nurture them. They think that they're living in their own dark romance novel, but no, you're living in a true crime documentary because you're going to be next. Like, I don't know how else to put it. And I know some people consider this case a Book Talk case because there were some people on Book Talk that were, I guess, romanticizing it as a dark romance, but none of the Book Talk guys would do this. I mean, if you read a dark romance book, I don't think that they don't do stuff like this. It's just bizarre. There are people even writing letters to the judge that read, if you look past his tattoos to his face structure since being in prison and medicated, he's healthier. His face is fuller compared to his booking picture, his mugshot, where his face is gaunt, pale, and he looks unhealthy. He's been healthier since being in prison. So in this healthy state of mind, he is fully committed to the white supremacist tattoos on his face. I mean, I feel like the argument is not being proven here. Again, we're talking about the white supremacist Wade Wilson. Not only is his face a walking racist poster board, but he's part of the prison gang Unforgiven. It is the largest white supremacist prison gang in Florida. Meanwhile, Christine and Diane are gone, and I don't think that they've publicly stated anything about seeing these TikToks that have been made about Wade Wilson, and I don't even think that's something that we could be able to comprehend the amount of anger, or I don't know exactly what the word would be if they were to stumble upon them. But Christine lived alone with her cat Monty. Monty was actually a fixture in a lot of the crime scene photos. The jury and the court had seen him in a lot of the pictures, and they just called him the fat cat because after Christine's very vicious murder, after the police arrived at the apartment, after CSI came to take pictures, through all of that, Monty refused to leave Christine's side. So that is why he is in a lot of the crime scene photos. Christine's cousin gave a victim impact statement where she says, Christine adored her mother. They were two peas in a pod. They were the same and different in the most beautiful ways. They lived less than 1 block apart in 2019 when this occurred. Christine's mother has not been at this trial. Once Christine was murdered, she was never the same. How could she be? Her health declined quickly. She left Florida and is now cared for by their son in Maryland. Christine's mother is my godmother. When she left Florida, she made me promise to see this trial through, and I have kept that promise. We all have. We have sat through graphic testimony and heard all the positively gruesome details of how our girl met our end, and I sit here today and I listen because that's what Christine would have done. She would have sacrificed her sanity to see justice done, and so I have done the same. Losing Christine has been like loving Christine. It has changed the courses of our lives forever. Losing someone to murder is foul and vicious and soul-crushing, and with one exception, and she looks straight at Wade, and he looks straight back at her. She says, with one exception, I would not wish it on my worst enemy.
With one exception, I would not wish it on my worst enemy. The prosecution has won this trial, but I assure you, the family, friends, and loved ones of Christine Ann Melton have only lost.
Zane Romero was 11 when his father died, and he was 14 when his mother Diane was murdered. Wade Wilson orphaned a child. Now in court, Zane is 19. I mean, he's barely an adult, but he's somehow brave enough to stand in front of his mother's killer. He tells the court, my name is Zane Romero. I'm a 19-year-old college student going for my bachelor's in graphic design. I am Diane Ruiz's youngest child. I was 14 when she passed. I was just starting my freshman year of high school, and she was so excited to see me grow up and so proud of what I was growing into. She supported me in all my dreams and only tried to help and uplift me when I was taking on new risks and challenges. My father unfortunately passed away when I was only 11. My mother was all I had left. I was barely 2 months into my first year of high school when she passed. I was in marching band, and the week prior she was telling me how excited she was to go and watch me perform at the weekend's football game. It would have been her first time seeing me perform. That was my first year in the marching band. She would never get to see me perform, and I would never get the experience of seeing her in the crowd. My mother supported my dreams and only ever wanted me to succeed in life. She always made sure that all the hard work I was putting into my education wasn't going unnoticed. She would always show up with these random gifts that helped me succeed in life for what I needed. She was raised in a tough home environment and only ever wanted to give me and my brother just nothing like that. She wanted us to grow up in a loving home and for us to be happy. Diane was engaged to be married, and her fiancé testified. He broke out into tears during his testimony because That morning, the last text message she ever sent him was, she was upset at him because she didn't think that he kissed her goodbye before he left for work. And he said that he absolutely did. There have been a few viral clips from the trial. On one trial date, there were 2 detectives who testified back to back. When the male detective testifies, Wade is just his normal emotional range, which is just flat. There's nothing behind the eyes. Some say there's pain. I say there's radio silence back there. He's flat. But right after the male detective testifies, a female detective starts testifying, and he starts smirking, full on staring at her, running his tongue over his teeth inside his mouth, smirking at her. It's like he's trying to incite something. As we talked about earlier, some supporters of Wade's were arguing that he's suffering from mental illnesses, which is why he should not be sentenced to death. Some further context in the trial was that when Wade was super young, there were some reports that he was struggling with his mental health, which, yeah, okay, a lot of us are. We don't go on to kill for fun. But it stated that he was very paranoid that people were watching his adoptive family, and he insisted that all the blinds be closed. Another time, his dad called the police because Wade was allegedly convinced that there was an entity in the garage. Nobody found anything or any entity in the garage that Wade was referring to. So growing up, there were a few other instances where he was heavily involved in sports and he had a lot of head injuries from playing said sports. It's said that it resulted in a concussion a couple of times. There's also arguments that that's where his problems began, that he started doing drugs afterwards. And even at 20 years old, he was in a car accident where he suffered from a concussion when his car hit a tree. Now, during the trial, of course, his attorneys try to argue this is why he's not well in the head. This is why he did what he did. But CT scans showed no abnormalities in his brain. It is argued that they should have gotten MRIs, which are a lot more detailed, like screen grabs, I guess you could say, of the brain, snaps. But prison records show that he's been diagnosed with multiple different conditions, including depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and antisocial personality disorder, which again, many people have been, and they don't kill anybody. Multiple doctors were called in to analyze Wade and testify later on the stand. They do agree that he has significant frontal lobe impairment, which would affect his executive functioning and decision-making, as well as impulse control. And he also likely suffers from some sort of mental disorder, but so do a lot of people, and they don't kill anybody. The prosecutors argued that he was clearly not in a state of psychosis when he committed the crimes. There's evidence of him very clearly trying to run away from the crimes multiple times from the police. He's trying to get help. He's trying to go and get a train ticket out of there, a plane ticket. They also argued that the damage to his brain could not be a mental disorder and could just be from prolonged drug use. Which, should society have to pay for that? That's crazy. The jury deliberated for 1 hour and 45 minutes and voted 9-3 in favor of the death penalty. Now, this is very interesting because Florida not too long ago passed a law where the death penalty does not have to be unanimous.
Wow.
Yes. So 9-3 is enough. 10-2 voted for the death penalty for the murder of Diane. So 9-3 for Christine's murder and 10-2 for the murder of Diane. During the reading of the verdict, he is completely emotionless. He had more emotions when the female detective was testifying. The judge will be the final decider on whether or not he will be placed on death row and further executed by the state. The judge is going to make that final decision August 27th of 2024. So in a week or two.
August 27th?
Yes.
In a few weeks.
Yeah, in a few weeks. Later, one of the jurors, an anonymous female juror, would tell Wink News, there were times where, he and I would lock eyes and just stare at each other. And there's definitely a very noticeable weight in the room when you're sitting with somebody that has done these horrific things that he did. There are certain images that we had to see during this trial that we can never unsee. And that is the story of Wade Wilson. And how he's gotten over 4,000 letters at this point, I'm sure.
4,000
letters, yeah. Digital letters, physical letters, nude photos that have been flagged. Almost 200 nude photos that the prison guards were like, yeah, we're not going to let this through.
Wow.
People genuinely think that they can change him. And they love his face tattoos, which is, I feel like, what? It's basically, you're racist. If you love his, I don't even know what to say. How can you love his face tattoos? They're not even well done.
Crazy.
What are your thoughts on this case? Please let me know in the comments and please stay safe.